What if I was right, though? That would be wild.
That would be a first.
I'm from North Central Pennsylvania.
You two do an amazing job, especially Scott. He's the best. Thank you. Just kidding. He didn't write any of that, but I'll put it in there. I can say that, right?
My family's from Pennsylvania.
Anytime Pennsylvania is mentioned, you bring up your family.
I'm gonna go there someday.
Sasquatches have a religious site in Florida, is my belief.
A lot of people believe you, Christian.
That's the sad part.
I guess we could just lay your lifeless husk on that chair weekend at Christian's or something like that, you know?
Think you know Airwolf? You know Airbud?
That's not the same thing.
Different dog family, but still.
No, you don't even know what Airwolf is.
Airwolf was cool.
Do you know Beowulf?
How's that? Is that better for you?
You like that? Is
that's
that a
kinda
good enough
cool, too.
reference for you?
That's a good one.
Okay. What are you doing here? Get out. We can only hope. And you can only hope that you're catching us at the perfect time. Welcome back to the Freaky Deaky.
I was a little offended. We were in the middle of a conversation. They pop in interrupting us.
It's like, yeah, read the room, you know? It's fine. Folks, if there's one thing that I love more than hunting ghosts in my spare time, it is enjoying a delicious iced tea. And if there's one thing that I hate more than demons, I promise you it is iced teas that have like 60 grams of sugar in them. Your boy's trying to cut back, and there's no alternative. You got your peace teas and your Arizonas and all that nonsense, and guess what? They're tasty, sure, but they're doing damage, all right? You don't read the nutrition label on that. You're like, I'm just going to suck it down, and we're going to be fine with it, and that's it. But no longer, folks, because we have officially got ourselves some Halfday tea here. And let me tell you, this 1/8 the amount of sugar that you find in peace teas and Arizona teas. And you know what? It tastes just as good. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Your boy has a sweet tooth. All right. And many moons ago, we actually mentioned, I said, we need to get sponsored by Halfday. I have to hold it like this because it's a manual zoom right now. How's that? Yeah. Many moons ago, you guys may remember me saying this stuff is so delicious. And now I get to drink Halfday tea on this show, like we called it a while ago, and I'm stoked. And thank you, Kayvon. Very much appreciated. And if you don't, go look up the story of this brand of tea, all right? It's very inspiring. It's very inspiring, and it's delicious. So if you like those high sugary teas and you want an alternative to kind of maybe you're getting up there in the years, or maybe you're trying to cut back on the bad stuff, Halfday. Go to drinkhalfday.com and find them on social media at drinkhalfday. Legitimately so stoked for this. I now get to enjoy one of my favorite beverages while I record one of my favorite podcasts. Thank you, Halfday. Thank you, Kayvon. You a real one. Now let's get into some freaky listener stories. Let's do it. Let's talk ghosts. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. That's not the tiny bit of caffeine found in this tea. That's me being stoked on it.
I feel like all of a sudden with your little energy burst, I need a little caffeine.
Can I interest you in a Halfday?
Okay.
You are now entering the realm of the Freaky Deaky, an unsuspecting stop at the crossroads of fantasy and reality, where the frayed edges of make-believe seep into this cookie-cutter white picket world you've been led to believe is far from extraordinary. What you're about to hear are true stories.
Alleged true stories.
Christian, just... okay? Tales of the strange and inexplicable thought only to exist in film and folklore. Although difficult to accept, we do not know everything about this reality. About time or space, what lies beneath the ocean's depths. And try though we might, the unchanging truth remains. There are some things we legitimately cannot explain logically.
Anyway, folks, welcome back to the show. We are stoked to have you, as always. We are sharing some of our favorite things on this earth, which is freaky listener stories from freaky listeners like yourselves. Hey, no judgment zone. It is what it is, you know? So if you want to be in the next episode of Freaky Listener Stories, the next volume, whenever that drops, be sure to send in your story to the gang at thefreakydeaky.com. We'll take it from there. And if you don't hear from us for 4 months, I promise you, it's not unusual or whatever, okay? Like, legitimately, it takes me forever. I got back to an email. Guys, it is the middle of November. I got back to an email that I received in March today, okay? Today. So apologies.
You want to hear something funny that I might have told you this already, but recently I was going through my emails. Mm-hmm. I have access to our emails again. Remember how I couldn't get logged in forever?
Vaguely.
I don't even remember being able to log in, but I was like, what is it? This is our account.
Yeah.
And then I was afraid to mess with anything because I didn't know what you'd read. But now that I know you're 6 months behind.
When we get listener stories in, I save them to a folder and leave them unread.
Oh, okay.
So as long as you're not going through, if you see a submission form email, leave that alone. Anything else, it's usually spam.
I'll probably leave it alone for the most part anyway for now.
It's usually spam or someone trying to get a guest on our show that has a book about being psychic or something.
Oh, I'm down.
No, you're not. Trust me. Okay. It's the same exact email over and over and over again.
So it's not a real psychic.
No, it's a real author, but it's a dumb book.
You read it?
No, I've read the email that we received from whoever's trying to pitch this person to our show. And it's always like, I've got a great guest for your podcast. I'm like, if you watched the show, you would know that nary a guest to be found. And that's usually the way it goes. We've had like 4 or 5 guests on the show over the last 6 years, And we would like more, yes, but we would like to reach out to people and have them on the show. I'd like to have some of our listeners on the show to share some stories.
Especially since our listener episodes are the only stories that I believe.
It really do be like that, guys. Now that we're 12 minutes into the recording, I'm going to go ahead and get this going.
Now that we're at the normal place.
Yeah, now we're at the same exact spot that we always are every single time we sit down to record. And I say, next time we're not going to blab so much. Now that we're at that spot again, can we just hop into this?
I've been waiting.
Oh, have you been waiting or have you been adding on your own weird little anecdotes? That's right. This first story is called Forest Spirits of Wisconsin. And it is from our listener, Vesna. Okay, I apologize. 100%. You knew that going into this, you knew I was not going to get your name right. Okay? But I'm going to try my best. Vesna Zamonia.
I think you nailed it.
Waiting for her to comment and be like, nailed it. It's fine. Great fan. Great taste in music, by the way. Unlike my co-host, which you're all too familiar with.
You don't even hear much of my music.
I hear it blasting when you pull up to the house. Well, I used to hear it blasting in the winter when I'd be outside smoking.
Yeah.
Be listening to weird, like, deathcore German music. I'm like, what the fuck is happening out here? It's fine. Anyway, as much as I love aliens, I unfortunately haven't had an experience with them yet.
Me neither.
My mom was born on Elmendorf Air Force Base. And aren't there UFO sightings around there? Fingers crossed my abduction is coming. Now, that is a weird thing. That's a weird desire. I will say that. Appreciate the love for the aliens, but the abduction aspect, a little strange.
Are you like missing the Air Force Base they mentioned?
I'm all too familiar with J-Bear, yes.
Okay. Local for you guys that aren't up here.
Yes. She does not live out here. Her mom.
Yeah. I know. It's still interesting that it ended up out here
and I let her know. I was like, I've seen many unidentified flying objects just sitting outside in the wintertime.
I had somebody share one with me Tuesday when I was working.
Well, there you go. Look at that. Yes. So anyway, I did encounter some sort of forest or woodland spirit entity. I was on a hike in a pretty rural part of, how dare you, first of all, part of Wisconsin. The park I was at was about 6 or 7 miles outside the nearest town, and I was about 1.5 miles in from the trailhead. When I got there, I was the only one in the parking lot, and I would have had to pass anyone else if they were already out there. I had my headphones in, listening to a podcast. I can't remember which one, but let's just say it was the Freaky Deaky.
I like that one.
Yeah, she definitely wrote that. It wasn't me. Wasn't me. Didn't hear from me. But it was just plain talking with no extra sound effects. On either side of me was dense forest, and as I walked, I suddenly heard what sounded like children laughing and playing to my left. I pulled out one earbud and glanced over my shoulder, expecting some kids to be running up behind me. I planned to move aside for them, but when I turned around, no one was there. I thought to myself, that was weird, and turned back toward the direction I had been walking. All of a sudden, I heard the same childlike laughter again, and ahead of me on the trail, I saw a bright red thing quickly shoot around the corner. The best way I can describe it is like catching a glimpse of someone in a bright red shirt rounding a corner, except it was only the shoulder area and nothing else. It was even at about shoulder height. The corner was only about 15 feet ahead of me, so I quickened my pace to catch up. But when I rounded it, the trail stretched straight for a good 80 yards or more, and there was absolutely no one in sight. There was no way someone could have slipped into the woods. The brush was way too dense, and it would have been impossible to move through quietly or unseen. And with the trail that open, there's no chance someone, even running at full speed, could have gotten out of sight in the few seconds it took me to round the corner. I finished my hike and returned to the parking lot where my car was still the only one there. I'm usually pretty skeptical and tend to believe there's a logical explanation for most things, but this one really stumped me. I'm not sure what it was, but I think it may have been some childlike spirits playing who didn't realize I was out there, and then vanished or shifted forms once they noticed me. Love the show. Thanks for your time. Yeah, Forest Spirits, I love Forest Spirit stories every single time we get them in. And everyone I read, because there's like a creep factor to them. And this one was a little more wholesome than absolutely spooky, but I promise you, if it happened to me, it was spooky. It would have been spooky. I would have shit myself, ran directly straight to my car, praying the whole time.
See, I think I would be fine if I ran into forest spirits. They don't sound scary to me.
I'm sorry, have you heard of Pan?
Pan's fine.
Okay. So you haven't heard of Pan then, you know?
I've heard of Pan. Pan's not scary to me.
Luring people to the woods with, mimicking voices of loved ones and whatnot, never to be seen again. There's nothing scary about that? What, you think they're like taking them off to Neverland? Like,
I feel like
Peter
you've
Pan?
heard a really weird story about Pan.
It's not necessarily even Pan. It's forest spirits in general, like the mimicry of it. There's a great book right there, Disembodied Voices, that kind of touches on that. In the opening story, the author's story is nuts. But yeah, it's just, there's something eerie about it, you know? Like, it's a beautiful place, but there's something ancient lurking there at the same time.
Maybe this ancient thing isn't evil.
Well, that's a hot take, Christian. What else could it be?
Just an ancient thing.
Happy, joy. I don't know about that.
Ren and Stimpy's definitely more evil than a forest spirit or whatever was seen here. That didn't sound scary at all. It just sounded a little bit.
I just don't like child laughter. And that's not saying like if human beings are laughing and they got kids and he, that's fine. But disembodied child laughter, no. Because kids are notoriously cheeky and they're messing with you. And if you can't see them and they're messing with you, then that's not fun.
What if they're a ghost?
Exclusively if they're ghosts. It makes it worse because I still can't see them, you know?
Maybe they just want to have some adult companionship after all these years.
Wow, phrasing. But no, I don't think so. I think they do it on purpose and to mess with you. If you can't see something, you have no idea where it's at. That's the creepy part. There's a sneak attack factor to it, you know?
So you're just assuming they want to attack you?
Yes. If I can't see something and it's making noises around me to let me know that it's there, I'm assuming it's about to pounce, you know?
I guess I can see that.
It's an intimidation tactic. What else could it possibly be? Outside of just like, he, you know? Like, you don't do that unless, like she said, like, they weren't aware that I was there. And they were just
because I feel like taking that route, not the way she was walking, but that viewpoint. Sure. Like, maybe we're trespassing on them in their environment. And why are we getting all spooky or butthurt that there's children laughing out in their forest home?
I don't know.
Okay.
But it doesn't feel good, is what I'm saying. You know? Now, she sounds like she handled it like a champ.
Yes. Better than the last episode.
I'm just going to keep walking. And me, again, for sure, I would have run. The second I hear that and I stop and I look around, there's no children here. And I'm hearing children's laughter. I'm booking it. You've never seen me run so fast. All right? But I get to that car in record time.
I get it. Fear
does not exist in this dojo. This next story is from Brian. It's called Dogman, Hellhound.
Oh, no.
Or other. It's fine.
I said I believe our listener stories.
Yep, that's right. Way to go, Brian. Coming in hot. Knew someone would pull it off. And we already had someone come in and try to explain that, if you remember correctly, last year, face to face with you with the Dogman story. And you're like,
I'm sorry.
I just don't know.
If there's something out there that these people are seeing, it's a Bigfoot. It's not Dogman. They've just misidentified it. I'm sorry. Wow. I'll be that guy. Bigfoot maybe can exist. A dog-faced being? No. Unless it's the dog or a wolf or something of the canine variety.
Yeah, but look through history of people that have seen dog-headed men. people that wrote down in their travels, like, oh, I witnessed an island of dog-headed men. I witnessed this.
Some of those same
Freaking St. Christopher or whatever was allegedly a dog-headed man, you know?
Yeah, but back then people saw a human that had no head whose face was on its chest. So I can't trust them people. But Brian, I trust you. Let's go.
Anywho, says, hello, my name is Brian. I'm from North Central Pennsylvania, and I just love your podcast. You two do an amazing job, especially Scott. He's the best. Thank you. Just kidding. He didn't write any of that, but I'll put it in there. I can say that, right?
My family's from Pennsylvania.
Anytime Pennsylvania is mentioned, you bring up your family, Christian.
I'm going to go there someday.
Okay. I've been listening since last year, and I wanted to share an encounter I had with something freaky deaky with y'all. It's our favorite. First off, let me say this. I'm sure some people will try to say it was a black bear. Some people is actually sitting across from me right now, so buckle up.
That was me.
But it wasn't. I've seen plenty of them, and I know exactly what they look like. This thing was not a black bear.
Maybe it was a white one.
Maybe it was Black Bear, the musician, who used to go by Matt Musto, who I talked to back before he was wildly popular on MySpace. And I missed that because we were supposed to play shows together in Florida when I was out there, and we never did. And now he makes $1 million every other week or something like that. I don't know. I'm getting way ahead of myself. It's fine.
Never heard of him.
Of course not, because it's a hip, youthful person making music.
I listen to a lot of hip youthful music, just not your crappy
Brian.
music.
Sorry, Brian. We're getting back to the good stuff. Don't worry. So it was not a black bear, reiterating that. This happened a while back when I got put on the morning shift at work. I had to leave the house by 3 a.m. in order to make it in time.
Ouch.
I feel that literally twice a week. I'm right there with you. I was about 5 miles from home, rounding a turn, when I saw a dog with long, upright, pointy ears sitting next to a road sign. But here's the thing. It was huge. The top of its head, not even the ears, just the head lined up with the bottom of that road sign, which is about 5 feet high. I even went back later to check the height of the sign just to be sure. But that wasn't the only strange thing about it. The creature was completely black, blacker than black. Honestly, it looked like it was made out of Vanta black. If you've never seen something that color, it's mind-boggling. And that is true. It is very mind-boggling. Almost unbelievable. It was so dark, in fact, that its glowing yellow eyes looked insanely bright in contrast. The whole sight of it was unnerving, eerie, and just felt incredibly unreal. To this day, I still don't know what it was. Was it a black dog? A hellhound? I honestly don't know. I'd love to hear someone else's thoughts on the matter. Well, folks, you heard the man. Get out there and comment. What do you think Brian saw? Christian, just get yours out of the way. You think it was a big dog? You just saw a dog?
Yeah, possibly. I don't feel like...
Dogman exists, we know.
Yeah, so maybe a large dog.
Got to get James back out here.
That part of the country, hard to believe there would be a wolf in this day and age.
Sure.
Or the last 100 years. But...
what else, though? You know?
I don't know.
That's a pretty... if it's sitting, that's a pretty tall damn dog.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, and we all know that depending on the angle you're looking at things, it could be wrong, but he sounds like he was pretty sure of what he was seeing.
We got him.
No, I still struggle with Dogman. It makes no sense. And I can't believe in a hellhound. Demons are real, and every case proves it. Sasquatches have a religious site in Florida, is my belief. Did it hurt him? No.
Well, he was driving, so there's that, you know.
I feel like we've heard some of these Dogman stories where the driving part didn't matter. They were coming after that car.
Sure, there's been some exceptions. But for the most part, they just want to strike fear into your hearts and let you continue living your life in endless curiosity.
Could be one of them government experiments that are out roaming wild after all these years.
It's a little up north for something like that, though, yeah? No, actually.
Pennsylvania's right,
Yeah.
not too far from where some of that stuff was rumored to have happened.
Rumored to have happened.
You know,
Come on.
and
you know what happened.
With normal migration patterns of cryptids.
Oh, well, here we go.
Maybe they made it to Pennsylvania after all these years. Bad science.
Justifiably bad science, Christian.
No,
That's fine.
I used migration routes. That's a scientific thing.
Oh.
How else could you explain Bigfoot in Florida? Migration.
No, just wanted to chill.
okay.
You got chill Bigfoot. Well,
You
don't
got
think
chill
different
Bigfoot, but
personalities
it's
exist?
hot. You'd be whining your whole time in Florida
Me?
because it's so hot there.
Me?
Yeah.
I've been in Florida for months.
And it's
at
hot.
a time. Yeah, I wasn't whining. I lived in California. It's hot too. I lived in
That's a
Vegas. It was
different kind
hot
of
too.
hot in California and Vegas.
I've been in more desert, hot ass places, and even humid, hot ass places than I've been in Alaska. Like,
Okay, but now imagine having all that hair and being there. No, man, it's migration. They have a religion.
first of all, I'm Italian. All right.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Sasquatches have a religious site in Florida, is my belief.
I'm
You
sure
heard it here first.
Wow. Hey, look at that. Made it up. No, it's okay. A lot of people believe you, Christian. That's the sad part.
Sometimes I'm right.
A lot of people are like, what Christian said made sense. When people start that, I'm like, okay, what are you doing here? Get out. What are you doing? That's not the point of the show, all right? The point of the show is to convince this wet blanket man that weird things happen, all right?
I think at this point you should realize that unless one of these creatures visits me, I'm going to be a wet blanket. I'm just going to lean into being a wet blanket.
Wet blanket, lighten my mood. Spin us a yarn.
I know that was actually one from TFT the Musical.
I remember it.
Nobody cares.
So, folks, friendly reminder that you can actually pick up some of these dope hoodies at the merch store now. It is officially available, and it has been for a while. The Stay Freaky collection, I don't even remember what I named it, to be honest, but it's kind of the wild and out there hoodies. I'm wearing the Butterscotch Gang. And on the back, it's a nice big Butterscotch Gang.
I have a suggestion for a future line. The freaks come out at night.
Sounds perverted.
It'll take us back to an early 80s. Maybe it was mid 80s hip hop. I don't
Okay.
even remember who did it anymore, but we used to listen to the shit out of that song.
I'm sure you did, Christian. And you have derailed me trying to sell our merch once more.
Oh, I thought you were done talking. You paused.
No, I was about to finish it out with go buy some, and then you're like, oh, well, back in my day, actually, what we did, well, we had this song, we used to bop it. I'm like, okay, Jesus, okay, whatever.
Bop it was your day.
Every time I try, like, I'll reset the cameras, and I'll be like, all right, we have 20 minutes. I'm going to get as much out as I can, and then you'll, like, ramble on about some, like, the glory days, and I just don't get it, man. I don't understand it. It's beyond me. It's an old person thing.
Well,
like
if you had a plan when you were going to sit back down, you just say, shut up, I'm going to do this. Maybe don't say it like
That's
that.
disrespectful. I'm not going to do it like
I
that.
am a sensitive man.
I'm not going to do you like that, Christian. I have too much respect for you.
Yeah, don't hurt my heart.
It's okay.
My achy breaky heart.
Okay, let's get out of this. This next story is from, and you're going to love this, Christian. I'm actually very excited to see your reaction to this one in particular. This is called Out of Body and an Old Hag, and it's from Starwolf the Hunter. Yeah, you heard me. Yeah, you heard me.
Starwolf the Hunter.
Pretty badass, I'm not going to lie. Can't deny that. Thank you, Starwolf.
I feel that like that's a character from like.
I feel like it's exclusively a listener of this show, and I want to know nothing else about it. I just want to know in my heart that there's someone out there that calls himself Starwolf the Hunter that likes this show enough to send in a story. I want to hold on to that more than anything.
Starwolf the Hunter.
Hell yeah. Great stories, too. So I can't believe I'm actually doing this. I've never told any one of these things before, for obvious reasons. I've had multiple experiences through the years, maybe like 5 to 7 different experiences, but for this, I will only tell you my first experience and my most recent experience. I will remain anonymous. For those stories, you can refer to me as Starwolf.
The Hunter.
The Hunter. You got to add the Hunter in there, dude.
That sounds cool.
It's so badass.
It's like
I'm kind of upset that I don't have it myself.
it's like the name that would be in an 80s sci-fi.
It would be. It would be. And I think we all pictured the 2x3 poster for it in our mind's eye. Picked it up.
I just pictured a poster. I didn't know its measurements.
24 by 36, but it's fine. So yeah, this first experience, the out of body. I was in college in my 20s about 15 years ago. I experimented with some drugs, as you do in college. Prior to this moment, I had some experience with marijuana and tobacco, but this night, I was combining them in the same pipe and smoking them.
Wait, what are we doing? Which drugs?
Is it called a spliff? It's like weed and tobacco. Is that a spliff?
I believe.
Is that the right term? I can't remember.
I should know considering my job, but
You really should. I came to you.
I would never. I haven't smoked tobacco, so
You've never smoked tobacco?
I've smoked like 1 or 2 cigarettes in my whole life.
Disgusting, Christian. Get out.
Yeah.
Disgusting. I could go for a cigarette right now, but not on YouTube. And also, not anymore. So there's that. But this night I was combining them in the same pipe and smoking them. I don't remember if this was the very first time I combined weed and tobacco or not, but this was definitely a new thing for me at this point. I don't remember what kind of weed it was, but if I had to guess, I'd say it was indica because it put me into couch. And the tobacco was a loose, shredded tobacco for packing into pipes. I took the hit and got very high, and I could feel both drugs' unique effects on me. Then I went inside and sat on the couch watching TV. A few moments passed and I get sleepy. As I close my eyes, I feel a rushing sensation spiking in my head. When I open my eyes, the sensation would stop. When I close my eyes again, the sensation would start spiking immediately. So then I said, fuck it, and I closed my eyes to commit to whatever this was. I felt the sensation spike in my head higher and higher. Can you tell?
I knew it.
me?
I knew it. I knew it.
more and more intense, and then all of a sudden I could see something. Even though my eyes were closed, all of a sudden the TV that I was looking at was 10 more feet away. I was looking at the back of some gray furniture. Then I see the back of a bald white dude's head. Then I realize I'm looking at the back of my head as I'm sitting on the couch. The second that I realize what I'm looking at, I excitedly open my eyes and I'm back on the couch.
Oops.
That happens to the best of us. The TV is once again closer to me. I try closing my eyes again to chase that head rush, but it's gone. I've tried combining marijuana and tobacco several times after this moment, and I never felt that head rush ever again. Very disappointing. There are 2 other possible factors that could explain why this event happened, and I could never repeat it again. My memory is fuzzy at this point, but I remember that when I was living in that exact apartment, I experimented with 2 other drugs, harmaline and salvia. Both of these drugs are psychedelic, but when I tried each of them, I felt nothing. Hey, same. But maybe I took one of those 2 psychedelic drugs and then smoked the marijuana and tobacco later that same day, and that's why I had that out-of-body experience. I don't hear you talk about drugs on your show. Are you sure?
Our code words must work.
Yeah, are you sure you don't? Christian exclusively talks about drugs on this show.
Even when I'm not, it comes out
yeah,
like
it's
it.
like somehow it just slips out in conversation.
I mean, it adds to stories sometimes.
Sometimes.
Oh, they were high. They didn't see that.
Classic.
I work
my
for the
God.
government. That's why I have to say it that way.
Maybe it's so subtle when we're talking about. I can't imagine because I know every time we do, I'm like, I feel like we talk about drugs way too much on the show for people that don't even do drugs, really. You know, but it's fine. It's fine.
I'm very boring when it comes to that.
Same. Maybe you dismiss it, or maybe you try to keep a family-friendly vibe. Yeah, that's never been the problem here, I promise. I tried once, and it's very difficult. Maybe we'll get back to that. You guys want family-friendly again? That'd be fun.
I could do family friendly.
Christian can a lot easier than I can. I have a potty mouth. But if you have a true interest in this phenomenon, then you should really investigate people's drug-related experiences. I'm going to touch on that in a moment. I don't remember if it was on your show or some other paranormal podcast, but I remember someone mentioning that a lot of paranormal stories start with the narrator consuming tobacco. Whether they're connecting the tobacco to the experience or not, tobacco comes up a lot in these stories. Just something to be aware of.
If we're talking tobacco, we've spoken about tobacco on this podcast before. There's a lot to tobacco when it comes to like Native Americans in this country.
Yeah.
And there's a long history.
That I have heard. Yeah. In the past, I have heard something
I mean,
about
we've
that.
even talked about certain tribes leaving tobacco out so that
Bigfoot could
Bigfoot won't mess
get a
with
little
them.
sniff. Get a little chewing tobacco for the squatch, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that, and I've heard that several times. So that is, you might be onto something with that. Also, considering what you mentioned about drugs, I remember what I was going to say. The experiences, I found a website that is like this archive of people that have tried different drugs, and they type their experience. And
I feel like I've been on that website.
Yeah,
before.
I feel like I might have sent it to you at some point, being like, we need to make episodes of different drugs and the results of the hallucination or experience they had while taking it. Because that shit was super fascinating when I was reading some of those stories. I'm like, and also terrifying. So I feel like this might be the, Scott, while you're editing this, take note, put that in, start working on that, because that would be a fun actual episode to get into.
One of my most terrifying experiences in my whole life was one night with
a man.
No, with hallucinogens.
I remember. Yeah, the demons in your car. They were your cousins or something.
My cousin and his friends. My cousin wasn't a demon.
Hell, though. Yeah.
Yeah, my cousin wasn't the demon. He was just helping them.
That happens.
They had big old, like, I don't know how to explain it, but it was like warrior pig faces.
Gross.
Yeah.
Anyway, they had piggy noses.
Are we still on the same part of a story or a second part?
We're getting into a second story, the other experience.
Because I forgot to mention that I feel like this was classic out of body, and I don't think you need drugs to make that happen.
Yeah.
I just think you're in the right place, right time. The chemicals in your body are working right, your brain waves, and it just happens at times.
And that sound, that spiking feeling is like that rush that a lot of people, I feel like it's that rush, and I could be wrong. I'm not trying to put words in Starwolf's mouth. I'm not trying to end up on that list, but I think a lot of people explain that as like that rush that you feel right before you open your eyes and you're out of your body.
Yeah. And there's, because I try this every so often, and there's times where I I can see something and it's pretty interesting.
Sure.
But the minute I try to, in my mind, focus on it, I lose it. And if I could ever get to that point to keep that there and be able to look at it, I think I could get somewhere.
Yeah.
I just haven't been
on through the other side.
Yeah, I just haven't been able to do it. Dude, that's weird you bring that up.
Sure.
It is. It's just weird. I've been inundated for the podcast with the Doors and a lot of groups from that time period the last week.
Hey, why not? All right, let's get into this next one. This is going to run pretty long. It's fine.
As listeners' stories usually do.
Yeah, it's fine if it goes a little longer, I guess. What do I got to do? Huh? What am I doing with my life anyway? So this is the Old Hag. This happened about 2 years ago, and this is still Starwolf. I was recovering from knee surgery from a motorcycle wreck. The dude is badass. I just knew it. Doctors gave me hydrocodone, an opioid painkiller. I did not abuse this drug and took it only as prescribed by the doctors because I have a terrifying paranoia of getting addicted to that shit.
Don't we all?
Mm-hmm. I was a month into rehab after the surgery and on the meds. At this time, I was also on the zero-carb ketogenic diet, which may have played a factor.
That might have.
That night, I had a dozen egg yolks for dinner. Yes, just fried egg yolks, no egg whites. Yes, a dozen. This may be relevant because egg yolks contain B vitamins and choline, both of which affects dreams.
Yep.
I take my normal dose of hydrocodone at night. Then a few hours later, I eat my eggs. Then
You must be buff.
Yeah, I can picture for sure. The farts, though, the farts attached to that, good night, dude. Good night.
Buff and single.
Yeah, perhaps.
Just joking, man.
Please don't add Christian to the list either, all right? He needs to keep making this show. I guess we could just lay your lifeless husk on that chair like a weekend at Christian's or something like that,
Eventually I'll shrivel up and you can wear me on our Halloween episodes.
No, we can put you on a lamp or something. Wouldn't that
like Ed Gain?
Wouldn't that be fun? Yeah. Anyway, so he takes his hydrocodone, a bunch of eggs. Then a few hours later, he goes to sleep. Then I hear her voice. Starwolf. Starwolf.
Now, if she really called him Starwolf,
that would be badass.
Yeah.
She respects Starwolf.
Yeah.
Nobody disrespects my man Starwolf, right? A name I haven't gone by in 10 years.
In our eyes, it's Starwolf.
Do you know Airwolf? It's always going to be.
Do you think he knows Airwolf?
Do you know Air Bud?
That's not the same thing.
Different dog family, but still.
No, you don't even know what Airwolf is. Airwolf was cool.
Do you know Beowulf? How's that? Is that better for you? Like that? Is that a good enough reference for you?
That's a good one.
She says my name in the most creepy, over-the-top horror movie kind of way. She also sounded like a cross between my mom and my grandmother, like both of their voices layered together. I've heard of entities trying to mimic loved ones. Maybe that's what this was. The second I hear her voice out of nowhere, I open my eyes. I'm paralyzed and I see my room. And I see her, an old creepy woman in white. Pure white, like bleached white, albino white. Her skin was albino white. Her clothes were albino white. Sounds blinding. She starts over by my locked door and starts moving toward me, around my desk, by my bed. What really interests me is that her legs disappear behind the desk just like they would for any real-life human in my room. My point is that 100% of my senses told me there was a woman in my room. It did not look fake, nor did I feel like I was dreaming. I felt fully awake. The woman slowly moves over toward me. No, I don't remember if her legs were moving like she was walking or if she was floating on the ground. She was just moving. The whole time I am obviously terrified and trying to shake myself out of the sleep paralysis, something that I've done before. She's getting closer and closer, and I'm shaking and shaking, trying to snap out of this bed. Then she gets to my bed. She bends over and puts her face 2 inches away from mine. I can see that her whole figure is not solid, but made of squiggly lines, kind of like worms tangled up all about moving. No, I'm not saying she was made of literal worms. I'm saying she was not solid. She was made of individual moving parts that look like worms. I can't quite remember the color of her eyes. I think maybe yellow, but I'll forgive myself for not remembering because I was scared out of my motherfucking mind. Then, right as she was looking right into my eyes, simultaneously, she disappears, and I snap out of the sleep paralysis, and I'm now looking right through her at the wall. Now, what strikes me as super interesting is that there was no change in perception when I snapped out of it. As mentioned before, it did not feel like I was asleep. It felt like I was awake. I could see my room the entire time, and when she disappeared, I could see the wall right behind her. I did not open my eyes to see the wall behind her. My eyes were open the entire time as she disappeared in front of me, revealing the wall behind her. That was the most terrifying experience of my life, and it was awesome. I would do it again in a heartbeat. And then for a little end note here, for the Skeptic, he says, if we're going to investigate claims of the paranormal seriously, then we need some healthy, logical skepticism. You could easily blow off these 2 stories and say they were a drug-induced hallucination and a drug-induced hypnopompic hallucination. I can't prove you right or wrong, but if you pay attention to history, people from all over planet Earth have used, quote, plant medicines to experience the paranormal. That could be exactly what this is. That is exactly what I think this is.
I maybe should remind everybody I work in plant medicine to a certain extent. So I understand that. But also I want to...
we don't talk about drugs on this show, so...
I want to talk to Steppenwolf, though. Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf?
I was thinking about throwing that in our list a minute ago.
Wow. Not cool. I want to talk to Dick Wolf. Or
Starwolf. I don't know what that is.
You don't know what Dick Wolf is?
No.
It's the dude that made like Law and Order. Every single time I see the credits, I'm like, Dick Wolf. What?
He's entertained me for a long time.
Oh yeah, Dick Wolf.
No,
Starwolf.
Starwolf got visited by a succubus.
That's kind of what it sounds like, right? Very creepy.
Starwolf, I'm a little disappointed. It was your chance to take one for the team.
Could have sent it to Christian. Christian's a big fan of those.
Sometimes we call these succubus a slump buster. And I'm not going into detail in this episode what a slump buster is, but
I'm pretty sure the context clues are there for anyone to make the connections.
It's a minor league baseball reference, as told by minor leaguers or pro baseball or major leaguers that used to be minor leaguers. Look it up. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah.
Succubus was in your bed and you got a little scared. I understand. I would be too.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, 100%.
I think it's funny, and like we joke about it a lot, and it is a question that needs to be asked when somebody has one of these experiences. Are you on drugs? Yep. Have you been drinking? Most of the stories, at least the ones we talk about here, aren't your typical I'm high seeing things type of stories.
Yeah.
Unless we're talking like an LSD type story or a mushroom type story, but then we're telling you that's what it is. Or the machine elves type thing. Most of the stories are different than that, if that makes any sense.
It does. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And so I'm not like I'm skeptical about a lot of things, but I don't just always blame it on drugs. And that's not the first place I go, because I think on certain types of pharmaceuticals, it kind of takes down that filter that keeps you from seeing on the other side.
Yeah.
And I've never heard of a mix of marijuana and tobacco, but
I think we covered this earlier. I'm pretty sure it's a spliff.
I mean, I've never heard of it creating
like
something
having
like
an effect on. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it makes a little bit of sense when you think about, I brought up the Native Americans, but I'm pretty sure there's different cultures and different religions that use tobacco.
Sure.
As part of their practices. I feel like voodoo uses tobacco as well.
Probably. They use well, I'm not going to get into that. It's fine.
I've never talked to somebody that does voodoo, so I don't know much about it. Other than what the media has put out.
What the media has put out about voodoo.
I mean, you can't trust anything.
Are your children into witchcraft? Find out that and more at 11.
Also, don't let your kids play D&D.
Sure.
And my mom didn't.
And his mom didn't. It's fine. All right, Starwolf, thank you. I would love to talk about the drugs. I mainly was going to touch on salvia, my experience with it, but it was pretty much just me wondering if there was maybe a tiny leprechaun in my roommate's closet. And I don't think there was. I was just more curious, like, is there maybe one? But I don't think there was. And that's the story. So salvia was not enjoyable. Would not do it again. Didn't have any experience with it, but I feel like I wasted my money.
I always feel like that when people tell me about that one. I'm like, that's not even worth it.
Yeah, it was very harsh, not worth it. And nothing happened. So they got me. It's fine. Anyway, moving on. Starwolf, thanks again for those stories. Incredibly terrifying. Thank you for sharing those with us. And I feel, once again, honored that people share their experiences with us that they haven't told people. That is, I feel like that we kind of harbor an environment that makes it feel like you're in the room with us. And it's just kind of a comfort thing. Like, hey, I'm just shooting the shit with the homies, and that's what we want. So if you're sitting on a story that you have not shared with people, but you're like, I think maybe I'll tell these guys about it, do it. And send it into the gang at thefreakydeaky.com. And we're not going to tear you apart. Christian is very respectful to people's experiences, even though he doesn't believe a single one of them. Okay. Even in his heart of heart.
I've believed one or two. These two were kind of easy to believe.
They were very easy to believe. There you have it. There you have it. We did it, folks. Couldn't have done it without you, because I've tried. Anyway, this next story is called Voices Through the Wall and the Floating Pillow, and it's from Queenie Fizzlesticks.
Dude, I was just thinking about your pillow story.
Mm-hmm. I thought that when I was reading this story. This one is somewhat, maybe it's equal playing field or like level playing field as far as creep factor, but still this one spooked the hell out of me.
I've tried 3 times to find stories about your story about people in a military uniform.
In pillowcases?
No, just
I was
like
going to say that's such a wild search.
No, that had died in that region.
Good luck.
Yeah. I haven't found much.
If Belief Hole can find, they found more than I've ever discovered myself, and I lived there for 21 years. But Queenie Fizzlesticks, here we go. I don't know if all of this technically is paranormal, but I've had some weird things happen to me. They mostly happened when I was a kid, 6 or 7 years old, but some things have happened recently also. I guess we'll start with the first paranormal thing that happened. I was about 6 years old, I think, and I hadn't really read or heard scary stories aside from traditional stories like La Llorona and ghosts floating across the room.
That's an early story and a horrifying story for that age.
Yeah, a little young for La Llorona, but I guess at the same time, like, I was probably hearing about Bloody Mary and shit when I was around that age in school.
Yeah, but Bloody Mary's not real.
Okay, well, the legend of La Llorona is Bloody Mary is equally as real as La Llorona, dude.
I disagree. Bloody Mary has that mirror, and you have to be a teenager at a party or a slumber party.
I'm not sure you have a grasp on this. Isn't La Llorona just the lady in white?
Yeah, and then she's an owl sometimes, and she steals children in the night.
You're thinking of La Lechuza.
I feel like they both do the same thing, don't they?
I don't know, man. Now your confusion is confusing me. All right?
Yeah, now I feel very confused.
I know for sure the owl woman is La Lechuza.
That when you said that, yeah. But either way, still too early to have scary stories.
La Llorona might be the lady by the water that like lures kids to water. Yeah, you can figure it out. It's fine. I was about 6 years old, I think, and I hadn't really read or heard scary stories aside from traditional stories like La Llorona and ghosts floating across the room. I hadn't heard about mimics or skinwalkers, which, by the way, my friend makes me call them flesh pedestrians, because if you say their actual name, you'll draw them to you. And yeah, you'll actually, there's a video somewhere on our YouTube channel of Christian mispronouncing that and calling them flesh peddlers, which was a great clip. It's a fun time to be me.
Same thing.
Yeah. So anyway, which by the way, or I've said the name many times, but I'm still here. Anyways.
Maybe we didn't say the proper name. Bruce.
Okay.
The Skinwalker.
Right. So, I'm still here. Anyways. Or things like disembodied voices and footsteps, which, Scott, I understand your fear of disembodied footsteps. I can't with them. Or poltergeists. I was one of those typical kids who was afraid of the dark, but nothing had really happened to me before. I mean, besides really weird dreams, things like me trying to run in my dream and it takes immense strength to move my legs. Hate that. But anyways, that's beside the point. This one night I was asleep and it was probably the middle of the night. I couldn't read clocks and it was of course dark. And I just suddenly woke up from a deep, deep sleep. It wasn't like you'll gradually wake up in the morning when the sunlight is shining through the curtains, blinds, or whatever you've had a bad dream and you jolt awake. I wasn't dreaming that I remember, and I didn't just gradually wake up. I quite literally opened my eyes in an instant from a really deep sleep. Sorry for all the detail. Anyway, I woke up and I heard voices. My room is right next to the bathroom, sometimes a curse, so I can hear when someone's taking a shower, opening and closing drawers, and taking a fat No, just kidding.
Is that in there?
No, of course not. Of course it's not in there. I apologize. Sorry. So I can hear when someone's taking a shower, opening and closing drawers, and also we keep a speaker in our bathroom to listen to music or podcasts. I listen to the Freaky Deaky while I'm showering, by the way. Hell yeah.
What part are you scrubbing when you're listening? That might take that hell yeah away from Scott.
Hell yeah, why not? You know what? It is called the Freaky Deaky. What better place to listen to it? I'm not here to kink shame, which is what Christian usually says, but it's fine. At the time, my dad liked to listen to news shows while he was showering. He would listen to this specific news show that had a stereotypical woman's voice. The way it sounded from my room through the walls, it would always sound warbled and weird. I woke up in the middle of the night and heard the voice of the woman on the news show. I figured that it was about 5 a.m. because that's when my dad would normally get up and get ready for work. Then I realized that it was Saturday night and my dad only worked on weekdays. Then I also realized that he never listened to anything while showering in the early morning, only when we were all awake so he wouldn't wake us. And then being my uneducated, curious self, I got out of bed in the pitch dark, walked to my door and opened it. And guess what happened next? A demon jumped out from under my bed and attacked me. No, that didn't happen. There was nothing. All the lights were off. My parents' door was closed. My sister wasn't alive at the time. Oh, I took that to a really dark place.
Yeah, you did. I
was
could
like,
see it on your face.
Yeah, anyway, sister wasn't alive at the time and the house was quiet. So I just got back into bed and went back to sleep. If that had happened recently, I would have quite literally moved out. I'm a bit paranoid. Now, another thing that happened about a month after that is that I woke up in the early morning to find one of my pillows levitating. It was a Sequin shiny pillow. Don't ask me why I even had it. It was super uncomfortable to sleep on. I woke up and it was just floating up off my bed. Then I heard laughing. It sounded like a stereotypical witch laughing, but there was nothing by me or near me. And so I yelled at the witch to quit making my pillow levitate, and it dropped back down on my bed. But then it floated up again. I wasn't scared at the time, but now I realize how creepy that was. There was more that happened, but this story is getting a bit long, so I'll move on. This one time about a month ago, I was sitting in my bed reading, and it was around 8:30, so not late at all. I wasn't tired, and I wasn't seeing things. There's a shelf across from my bed mounted on the wall. It holds little knickknacks and random things. I happened to look up from my book, and I saw a black thing fall from the shelf. I immediately put my book down and went to bed, which maybe wasn't the best idea, but anyways, I checked in the morning and nothing was on the floor under the shelf. I'll be watching TV late at night in my downstairs living room, and suddenly I'll get this feeling to turn the TV off and go to bed. Then I'll go upstairs and into my room, and I'll have this feeling of being watched. Or if I open my closet after dark, I get this feeling that something is going to come out and attack me. And then I'll hear mumbling or whispers, and also I do not like standing close to my bed at night. I'll feel a presence underneath my bed, and I just do not like it. Well, that's about it. Again, I don't know if this is necessarily paranormal, but I thought I would share it. I'm listening to the podcast right now as I'm writing this. Way to go, you. That is fun.
Also, move.
Yeah, and I
move
feel
out of that
you.
place.
I feel you on the, and maybe you can relate a little bit, or you're going to think it's some lizard brain, ancient mind nonsense. But there's been times where I'll be up watching. Like I'm not a super night owl anymore, but there's times where I'm up watching TV or something, and that fear does fall on you from nothing. There's no sound. There's nothing that happens, but you'll be sitting there, and then suddenly be like, I'm being watched right now by something, and maybe it's human across the street sees through the window or something like that, your little silhouette, but something is watching me, and it's like this primal terror that I'm like, I really need to just go to bed, and it's usually looking down this hallway that comes to the studio because it's dark and creepy.
That is creepy, but as far as it goes with you, you're a Christian, so obviously it's a demon.
Has to be. And as far as it goes with you, you're a Christian, so it has to be.
Bad science. Nobody watches me unless I leave my windows. I close my shit at night so they can't look in it from the outside. Only the ones on the inside can see me.
Sure.
And touch my buttocks.
That is true. That happens. Yeah. I don't know. It's just a strange feeling because I'm not watching anything scary. I don't do that at night because I'm a sensible man. All right. And I know myself. Know yourself. All right. But it's just weird that I can be watching like a, random video on YouTube or something and then suddenly be like, just almost chills where you're like, something bad is going to happen right now. And I need to get upstairs. I need to go to bed.
See, I get that. I don't know if it's always something bad is going to happen, but something has changed and you feel it.
Yes.
And the question is like, what has changed and why or how?
And why does it want me dead?
But I don't think that's always the case because not enough people die from these supernatural experiences for that to happen.
That we know of.
I mean, we go through a lot of stories. A lot more people should be dying in these situations if these things are evil or after people. Could just be, I've mentioned it in the last, couple months or so, that our consciousness might not sit within our bodies. It might be out there. So then it's going to be touching other things, just drifting by, other consciousness, other beings.
So you think it could be something like fleeting that is passing through or like...
Yeah, not always dangerous, but
and also could be dangerous.
It could be.
It could be ill-intentioned.
It could just be foreign, like something something we don't normally experience or understand or even feel because it's on a level that we can't perceive. It's in a dimension we can't perceive. It might be sitting right next to us, but we don't always see or feel in that dimension, if that makes any sense. So maybe you're just picking up on things. The levitating pillow.
A little less easy to explain.
Yeah, but also almost felt a little dreamlike. And sometimes it made me wonder if sometimes we slip into a dream without noticing it.
Sometimes I'll give you that. Sometimes, yeah.
And maybe not. That's not the case here, but it made me wonder, especially for someone like you as a parent, where you get really exhausted. Me in the past with different jobs I've had, or the fact that when I was younger, I had like a full-time job. I coached hockey. I slept 3 hours a night, maybe. Who knows? You know, things like that. You could fall asleep without even noticing it. And I've done it driving before.
Yeah. I think there is, and it always comes back to like a religious aspect a little bit with the floating pillow or whatever. I think there is an angle for something like that happening that's not dreamlike and could be, we don't even have to say demonic. Let's just say evil spirit of some kind. Like I've said it before that I do think that there are entities out there that attempt to instill fear in the hearts of children very early on that keeps that, like, kind of sticks with them for life and holds them back for life.
So humans?
there's, I mean, to an
I'm
extent,
just messing
sure.
with you.
But like,
I know what you're trying to say.
like, because I know for me personally, the things that I saw and whatnot as a kid shaped the way that I viewed everything growing up.
But that's the way it's going to be.
But see, that's what I'm saying is that if that happens and it happens to me, and I can look back on it now and be like, oh, that's why I was afraid growing up all the time, because these things kept showing up and kept freaking me out. Like, so it could be a tactic if you're a religious person. I don't know what this person's thought is on any of that, but it could be a tactic to kind of throw you off course or something like that, or instill fear young enough. And so you can do things that kids tell their parents, like, a evil witch was floating my pillow last night. Like, what the heck? I need to get out. And the parents can be like, oh, it's a crazy dream you had.
I agree.
They won't believe you. And so you can get away with doing like crazy shit and no one's going to believe you. It's like that Bill Murray meme all over again.
I can't believe in like levitating stuff until I've seen or heard something credible that proves it. So we can move past that. But here's something when you mentioned the stuff you experienced as a child shaping you. And I feel like if you really go back to my childhood and some of the things I've shared here, I've had some similar things. It's fascinating that maybe we ended up in a different place, either because of it or in spite of it. I don't know.
At what age did you give up on belief as far as like, supernatural stuff?
Probably the last 10 years or so.
Really?
15?
Just the last 10 years? So a few years before I got here, you believed in ghosts?
I believed in a lot of things and I looked into it. Wow. And then I didn't believe it after looking into a lot of these for a little while.
Yeah, see, I think, and I've actually been preying on this. I think I've been doing the show wrong the entire time. And I think that might be part of the problem. Like I have to carry a pretty weird burden with this show, but I think that I've been doing it wrong the entire time. But I don't know. We'll see where it goes.
Did the demons tell you that?
No, it's a bit of revelation, if you will. No, it's more it's more discernment.
We're gonna die.
It's more discernment of me thinking like of all the you stop believing because you looked into things, right? And you're like, oh, I'm just kind of over this, right?
No, I looked into things and I found a lot of BS. So
and there's plenty of BS to be found.
Yeah, yes. and you know me, I'm a nerd, so I didn't just glance at stuff.
Yeah,
I went pretty deep into a lot of it, and that's why there's certain things that I'm like, there's no way.
Sure.
I mean, the demon thing I joke around with. I don't necessarily believe in demons, but I don't have that hard because I think there's plenty of things that we might call demons that people might be experiencing. I just maybe they're not the typical Christian demons we hear about.
Yeah. Well, there's no Christian demons, but
you know what I mean, though. The demons made famous by Christianity.
Christ. Yeah. Yeah. And we'll get into that in the demon episode where we have just a round table open discussion about demons for an hour. And that's going to be so fun and nobody is going to see it coming except for the demons.
It's hilarious because I love demon stuff.
You do love demon stuff. I would love to touch on this further, but we really do have to. And before I get in this last story, I reached out to Amanda to let her know. I was like, I think I can squeeze it into volume 12. I'm not sure. But I do want to give her a shout out at the very least. And we'll either get it on the next episode or an episode of Frightline.
Why don't we not wait for the next episode to get her on. Do something else where we can put her on there.
Well, I was going to use it as an episode of Frightline where the call in with like voicemails and stuff like that. And so we may just do a video of that and we can use Amanda's story on that. It's like a 12-minute audio clip. So, and I knew we were cutting it close. As we hit like 45 minutes, I'm like, oh, there's no way I'm going to finish with these.
Well, I also feel like I want to spend some time with that one too, feel.
But in the meantime, you guys can check out their podcast. It's the Wandering Crow podcast, and I'll slap a graphic up here so you know what it looks like. Amanda, sorry we did not get a chance to talk about it today. I really wanted to, but these listener story episodes run amok pretty quickly, and we just get rambling on, and it's a good time. So
I was trying to be good too.
It's hard. I will let you know where it does end up. It's probably going to end up on an episode of Frightline, which we're going to be filming soon and should probably be out by the time this comes out, hopefully. And if it's not, then we did poor. It's fine. Either way, we're going to close it out with this story from Dakota. It's called Whispers in the Ozark.
I feel like this is the first listener episode that I'm not as familiar with everybody's name.
Oh, yeah. We usually are like Marlene. Shout out Marlene, an OG, sent in. She has so many crazy stories under her belt.
That must be fun.
We got Lara. We got Marlene. remember, Paul has a million
Yeah.
stories. We've had some great listeners that have had like lifelong experiences and they've shared, and we've just been eating out. Nom, 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 nom. Love this. Thank you. So more of that, please. Marlene, don't ever leave us. Paul, come back. Lara, you guys know the ones. Anyways, The Whispers in the Ozark, and this is from Dakota. This is a beautifully written story as well. So shout out to you, Dakota, for making it easy on your boy. The sun hadn't. Nope, can't read. And all that bragging about it, and then I get not even 2 words in. Okay, the sun hadn't yet broken the horizon over the Missouri Ozarks. Frost clung to the underbrush, and the silence of the woods settled heavy around me like a thick blanket. I was tucked into a hidden hollow on my rural 40-acre property, rifle in hand.
Oh, this is going to be fun. I can tell already.
Breath slow and measured. It was the kind of morning that demanded reverence, still, watchful, ancient. I was in a small outcropping of juvenile cedar trees. Then I heard it. Dakota. My name, clear as day, drifting through the cold like a thread of smoke. It was my friend's voice, familiar, calm, but that couldn't be right. He lived 2 hours away, hunting in his own woods. There was no reason for him to be here. I was confused. I poked my head up and strained to listen with more attention. The voice came again, closer. Dakota. I stayed low, heart starting to beat my chest a little faster. Something was off. The voice had no warmth to it, flat, emotionless, like someone repeating words they didn't understand. And then I saw him. About 100 meters out, standing just beyond the rise, same build, same camo pants and shirt my friend wore last season. He scanned the trees slowly, calling for me again, and with that same dead tone, this time sounding a bit more distorted. I raised my binoculars to my face as smoothly and as quietly as I could. His skin, it was all wrong. Pale and almost gray like wax. His movements were too smooth, too deliberate. He was looking for me, but not with the urgency of a friend. It felt predatory. I sat frozen and in disbelief. I've heard the stories about mimics and pale creatures in the Missouri Ozarks. I began to pray. It was the only thing I could do. He turned and began walking toward the tree line, then stopped. Without hesitation, he dropped to all fours and darted into the woods with a speed and grace no human should possess. I didn't pack up. I didn't hunt. I just sat there, still as stone, until the sun was high enough to feel safe again. I believe what I saw that day was a skinwalker or doppelganger. I also believe that the Lord cast it away from me. I have also heard that in indigenous people's folklore that cedar and cedar ash repels entities like skinwalkers or wendigos. P.S. I'm sorry to put the word rural in the story for Scott's sake. Beans be with you, Dakota. Hey, you did it twice, first of all. All right, not cool.
I feel like we're in the wrong area for skinwalkers, but if a skinwalker could be in New Mexico, could be in any part of the country.
I mean, Wendigos also kind of, but Wendigo's more of a, I don't know, there's the mimicry about it is, again, forest spirits, it could just be a run-of-the-mill, creepy-ass forest mimic, no thanks on any of that.
Sometimes I feel like we give names to some of these things, like a skinwalker or a, what'd you just call that? Wendigo. I just lost my train of thought for a second. Like we give them names, but they might be the same thing.
They probably are, yeah.
And like Bigfoot and Yeti. Maybe there's some
skunk ape.
Maybe there's some variants.
I thought you were going to rage bait the fuck out of everyone and be like Bigfoot and Dogman, But I'm glad you didn't. You controlled yourself. Congrats.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like this almost, it felt skinwalker-like, but not, if that makes any sense. There's something different in this, like the calling, his name, the skin being wrong.
Yeah. And you know what this actually reminds me of a lot is there's one of my favorite stories of all time is from a hog hunter in Texas. And I shared it in the Facebook group probably months ago at this point. Because I refused to share it from the podcast I heard it from because I can't stand that dude. But yeah, it's about this dude that's pretty much hunting pigs or whatever in Texas. But it is hands down one of my favorite stories of this hunter that is like, I feel like I'm about to die from this human looking lady. And I can't kill it because if it's a human, but at that point I feel like, just kill it, Just fire one off, see what happens.
Texas hunters are known for drinking when they're hunting, so.
Probably not at 3 a.m., I'd imagine, but yeah.
I'm just joking about that one. But this was a pretty creepy story.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I was like, I wasn't sure he was going to see the person or the whatever it was. And I was like, oh, maybe it's just something like the way he remembered or subconscious. Like, you know how when you're just sitting there relaxing or falling asleep and you hear something call your name really loud in your head?
Yeah.
And you're like, it's not really in the room. That was
floating head syndrome or whatever.
That was in me that it came out of, but it was really, really pronounced, but not quite right. It's never right because it's your subconscious.
What about the like omen aspect of it? Like, you know, doppelgangers carry this kind of negativity about it, though. If you see one, it's usually like a signal that something bad is happening, right? Or maybe not a death omen, but I wonder if he reached out to his friend that he saw to see if anything was going on in his life, or if there's something crazy that happened to him, like almost like a warning, you know, like
I think we need a follow-up after you bring that up.
That'd be crazy if he was like, yeah, it turns out he's going through this or something. But like something like that where you're like, why is this happening? Why does it look like my friend? Is it something where it's just literally trying to, once again, like we mentioned with forest spirits, lure you into the woods to kill you, or so you're never seeing it? Like, what's the play there is what I want to know, is what actually happens when you go in the woods, when you follow it. You just
disappear.
You just disappear. Like, what? That's the curiosity angle that kills me every time. I'm like, I just want to know. Someone come back out of the woods, damn it. Someone come out of the woods and tell me what happened. That's probably never going to happen. But I do think it'd be interesting to hear from Dakota and see if anything was going on with his friend, or if it was just dude was fine, you know?
Maybe the friend took an astral projected trip
and forgot his right skin. Damn it, I got my wrong skin on. It's the pale grays.
Well, I think if you're seeing somebody astral projecting, you're not seeing their skin. So who knows what you're seeing or what your brain puts together so that you...
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Guys, that's pretty much all I got for you guys. We've been burning the midnight oil at this point, and it's time for us to get some sleepy sleeps.
Yes.
Okay? Again, first of all, comment your favorite story from today's episode. Let us know. Be sure to thank the authors of these stories. Experiencers, I guess I should say.
In a couple instances, sufferers.
And sufferers, yes, indeed.
Except for... the one succubus story.
Starwolf.
You didn't have to suffer.
Yeah.
You didn't have to.
You didn't have to.
Could have been a good night. Could have been the last night too.
Could have been the last great night you've ever had. And that's fine. But if you want to be in volume 13 of Freaky Listener Stories, please be sure to send in your story to the gang at thefreakydeaky.com. And again, once more, apologies to Amanda. We're going to get and I feel so bad because we've had this audio recording for months at this point. And I know we say it all the time that our schedule is so weird that we're always like 2 months ahead or whatever. And it's been a crazy year. Anyway, so we are going to get your audio into either Frightline or maybe another different thing. We don't know, but I'll let you know whenever it's out there. In the meantime, be sure to check out their podcast, The Wandering Crow. If you're into the spookies like you are here, you're probably going to be into that as well. So give them some love. Tell them that the boys sent you. Not the TV show on Amazon. I mean, the Freaky Deaky Boys.
Oh, I thought you were going to be like, not the cops.
Anyway, we'll see you right back here in a couple weeks' time for more Freaky Deaky. Goodbye.
Bigfoot is stalking by your window. Dogman is scratching at your door. Ghosties are walking up and down your halls at night, and the Hat Man is coming back for more. Your name is Christian, you love a can of beans, and you're the wettest blanket skeptic this world has ever seen. You're almost always wrong, it's quite an impressive streaky. This song has rambled on too long. Welcome to the Freaky Deaky. Your name is Christian. You're named ironically because the only belief you have can be found in a can of beans. You're almost never right, and now you get roasted weekly. This song has rambled on exists, just an FYI. Aliens are feeling blue. The Ouija demons lonely because they believe in you, in you. In you, they believe in you. Your name is Christian. You love a can of beans and you're the rightest black-eyed skeptic this world has ever seen. You're almost always wrong, it's quite an impressive streaky. This song has rambled on too long. Welcome to the freaky deaky. Your name is Christian, you're named ironically because the only belief you have can be found in a can of beans. You're almost never right, and now you get roasted weekly. This song has rambled on too long. Welcome to the freaky deaky. Also ghosts exist, just an FYI. Aliens are feeling blue. The Ouija demons lonely because they believe in you, in you, in you. They believe in you.
A crisp, refreshing half-day tea. Oh, what's this one, you ask? It's half and half. Yeah, it's kind of like an Arnold Palmy, you know? But better because it's not 70,000 calories and sugars. You don't need all that sugar, folks. Take it from a fat ass like myself. Just trying to slim down.